exactly 6 o'clock. Time for the regular meeting of the Board of Trustees, June 11th, 2024. Ms. Mays, is there a need for an executive session?
Yes, Madam President,
do the
to
roll call.
discuss pending or imminent
Oh, sorry,
litigation.
we forgot to take roll call, my bad.
Whoops.
Ms. Orich?
Here,
Mr.
my bad.
Unger?
Here.
Mr. Waller?
Here.
Okay,
Okay. Yes, Madam President, to discuss pending or imminent litigation in accordance with Ohio Revised Code, Section 121.22 G3.
okay, do we have a motion to go?
Motion that we go into executive session for the reason detailed.
I'll second.
Ms. Orich?
Yes.
Mr. Unger?
Yes.
Mr. Waller?
Yes.
Okay, we will be back at 7 o'clock for those who are watching. Thank you. Of the Board of Trustees for June 11th, 2024. Roll call.
Ms. Orich?
Here.
Mr. Unger?
Here.
Mr. Waller?
Here.
And Ms. Mays, is there anything to report from executive session?
No, Madam President.
Okay, then can we all stand and do the Pledge of Allegiance, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And before we sit down, we'd like to have just a moment of meditation. I just want to thank you, Lord, for keeping our officers safe from harm on May 29th. Keep them safe always as they put their lives on the line to keep us safe. Also, I'd like to keep Matt, Trustee Waller's mother, in our prayers for a successful recovery. Thank you so very much. Okay, we're going to go to Mr. Baker for approval of minutes.
Thank you, Board. Would ask for approval of the minutes from the Board of Trustees meeting held on May 28th, 2024.
I motion that we approve the minutes of the May 28th, 2024 meeting.
I'll second that.
Any questions?
None.
Comments?
Ms. Orich?
Yes.
Mr. Unger?
Yes.
Mr. Waller?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, now we're going to move on to presentations.
Okay, our first presentation for this evening is the Help Squad. Samantha, Jasper, and Brian Ibold from the Help Squad will be providing a presentation when an overview of the work being done in Colerain Township. If you recall, this is one of the groups that helped organize the Welcome Home Rally for Carson West.
Thank you so much.
And I still have my little itinerary. I was most impressed. I did not know about your organization till I went and you won this award, and your speech and everything warmed my heart. And I talked to Samantha, and I am so happy you're here so more people could know about your organization.
Thank you for the invitation. Yeah.
Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah. So my name is Brian Ibold, and I am a retired police officer and president of the Help Squad. The Help Squad is a Christian-based 501c3 organization that assists financially struggling families with a focus on single mothers and fathers. A few examples of what services we provide. We cover the basics, the food, clothing, and shelter. However, the Help Squad goes beyond that, and we pay to turn people's gas on, electric, their water, that have been shut off because they are behind on payments. We assist with housing by paying clients back rent, which avoids evictions. We pay for car repairs that the struggling family or the single mother can't afford to do on their own. We have provided several automobiles for clients that needed transportation to work or to get their kids to school. So we stay very active, and each client's situation is a little bit different, but we do our best to accommodate their specific needs. One of the best things that the Help Squad did last year is join the Colerain Chamber of Commerce. This is actually where I met Sam at a meeting. After numerous discussions with Sam and her group of amazing servants, we decided to merge. They merged with the Help Squad, and we became one big Help Squad family almost overnight. Lastly, I just want to quickly explain our service areas before I hand it over to Sam to finish this out. Internally, the Help Squad is split into two halves. You've got the west half and then the northwest half. The west half is what I cover. The northwest encompasses Green Township, Delhi Township, the city of Cheviot, Addiston, and Cleves. What you may be more interested in hearing about is what the Northwest covers. The Northwest covers your community of Colerain Township, the entire community of Colerain Township. And that's where I'm going to bring in Sam in here, because Sam is the vice president of the Help Squad, but she is the expert of Colerain, and she takes care of the entire community of the Colerain Township. So I'm going to pass this on to Sam and let her tell you exactly what's going on in Colerain Township.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you again for having us here this evening. And I also wanted to recognize our Help Squad team that's here tonight. So if you all want to raise your hand real quick, and that's part of our team.
I see Gary back there.
Yes.
Hey, Gary. We've known each other a long time, a lot of different meetings. It's nice to see you.
All right, a little bit about myself real quick. I am a resident of Colerain. I've lived here all my life, even as a child, raised in this community, and I'm a graduate of Northwest High School, so I'm an alum over there. And been married for 32 years, all in this community. We've raised our 5 kids here. We have 10 grandchildren. We just found out we have an 11th on the way, so we're very excited about that. So very proud of Colerain Township and where we live. And that's why working through mission groups through Northwest Community Church, we really got involved in the community. I'm also a youth group teacher with eLife School Ministries, who teaches through Northwest Local School District. Working through with the families, we quickly learned that there was a level of need that wasn't being addressed. So that's how we came together to start addressing those needs for these families. So we started working, pulling demographics together to find out a little bit more about who we're serving. And we do have an about 11% poverty rate in our community. So it's quite a bit of families that we're serving. If you want to switch the slide. I won't go over all of these demographics, but I wanted to draw your attention to the bottom two, the lack of affordable housing and homelessness. Just go back one there. I think that little window's in the way. And then the second area down there, it says that families are quickly becoming the highest population of homelessness. So, and we do see a lot of that coming through the Help Squad and the requests that we receive. So, all right, you can go to the next slide. All right, and as Brian explained, we offer financial assistance to help families with a variety of services for rent, utilities, insurance, lots of different areas. But we also try to connect them to services when they find themselves in a situation, a circumstance that has changed, and they don't know where to turn, they don't know what resources are available to them. That's where we come in. We try to help to connect them to those resources, and then also help them financially, if that makes sense. There is an application and a vetting process that they do have to go through, but bottom line is we help, we coach, we pray with the families. That's one of our most important factors. And then we act, and we work with those families to try to turn things around. Our office for the Help Squad is the Pivot 360 Care Center, which is located over at Northwest Community Church, which is next to Colerain High School. So that's where we operate out of. You can go to the next slide. We work with a variety of community partners to try to pull all of these resources together to address all of these needs. So personal growth, parenting, financial. We work with all the food pantries, the non-food pantries, and our clothing pantry is also over at Northwest Community Church. We work very closely with the shelter network. A lot of the programs and services are in Hamilton County, are in the city of Cincinnati. So it does make it hard for families to connect sometimes, and they're very high barrier processes. So it is helpful when families find themselves in the midst of not knowing what to do and not know who to turn to, that we can help navigate those processes for them. You can go to the next slide. So we're averaging about 6 applications weekly, and that is increasing all the time. We get an influx, some a little more, some a little less, but our focus is single parent two-parent and grandparent families experiencing anything, like I said, some type of circumstance change in their life. Could have been a job loss, a death, illness, homelessness. We work with moms who are experiencing domestic violence. Also recently, human trafficking has been an area that we've had to address. Families that are on disability services, our veterans, our seniors are very important in this process, and we've even helped cancer patients who were in between benefits, leaving a job, trying to establish benefits, but didn't have the financial resources to carry from one place to the other. So we've helped them with those things. You can go to the next slide. So our annual budget, right now, we are in the midst of raising money, and so our basic budget is $75,000 that we raise for families in crisis. We have an operational fund that we count on for about $5,000, and then if we can do anything over and above that through grants, those would be considered special projects. So we have a grant writing team, and we're working on trying to research grants to get additional funding. Okay, you can go to the next slide. And as Kathy pointed out, we were the Colerain Chamber New Business Rising Star this year, so we're very excited about that. The Colerain Chamber nominated us for that, and we did win that, so very excited to have received that accolade. And recently, we've partnered with La Rosa's. So we're working with La Rosa's and at different locations. This was our first one that we did last month over at the Budno location to try to raise money for our organization, giving a percentage of sales to the Help Squad. And then the next one, we'll kind of go through those real quick. This weekend, we have the Bourbon Bash coming up over at Club Trio. We're giving away 30 bottles of bourbon with 30 winners. And so we'll do Split the Pot, and we'll have a bunch of fun events, activities there for people. And so that also helps us raise money. You can go to the next one. And then in our July, we're going to be doing Party for a Cause over at Kramer's Beer House. We have the band, the Lunchbox, lined up. So that'll be on July 21st, 1 to 5. So again, more fun, food, and music, and Split the Pot and basket raffles. We can go to the next one. And then we have our charity golf fundraiser, and that's going to be right over here at Pebble Creek Golf Course. Mike and all those folks over there at Pebble Creek are great to work with. We had our golf fundraiser there last year, but that'll be on August 17th, and Kelsey Chevrolet is going to be our major sponsor. Okay. And then we're partnering with another local nonprofit, the Chrome Divas. It's a motorcycle girls group, and they get together and they try to raise money for various nonprofits. And they've named the Help Squad for their 80s dance that they're going to be having over at the Elk Lodge on Glenmore Avenue. So we're very excited to partner with them again this year. And then our next one. And then to wrap up the end of the year, we're going to be doing our Viva Las Vegas dinner show right over at the Willow Event Center. So you can see we're very busy. Almost every month we have something going on to try to raise enough money for struggling families in our communities. And so that's going to be a lot of fun. Again, music. We have an Elvis impersonator coming, doing some comedy. We have lots of games and things like that going on. And as you can see, we have tons of stuff happening, and with all of the activities and fundraising that we have going on, plus the activities of just helping the families, coaching them, working with them, working through all of their scenarios, you can see that we need volunteers. We're 100% volunteer-based, so volunteers are a big part of what we do. So, and they're all here tonight helping us bring recognition to the Help Squad. So, and we would love to have our business community join in. We're looking for a couple board of directors from the business community to join us. And then we're also looking to have just volunteers join us to help with fundraisers and all types of different activities. If you have a heart for helping families, we would love to have volunteers who would come out and help us with case management, that would want to actually work with the families through those struggles. So if you guys want to get in contact with us, you can either contact Brian or myself, and we would be glad to talk to any of you.
Thank you.
All right, you're welcome.
Thank you for what you do.
Thank you.
I
Thank you so much.
appreciate it so much. Thank you, thank you.
Okay, next I'd like to invite Assistant Chief Mueller up to introduce our next presentation.
Welcome, Chief.
Thank you. So many great things happening here right in our backyard. So good evening, board, those that are in attendance and those that are watching online. It's my pleasure to introduce the next presentation. Many great things happen in our community, as you just heard, on a daily basis, and they simply sometimes go unnoticed. Some of these great things occur as a result of kind deeds, thoughtful gestures of humanity, or unswerving support for our underserved populations. So it's a thrill when we have an opportunity to notice such acts of service and promote them. The group that you're about to meet are Colerain High School students who identified a social gap in service and took action. They are part of the Family, Career, and Community Leaders of America, or FCCLA. And I want to focus on the future part, because the three young women you're going to hear tonight, they're our future. FCCLA is a dynamic organization that empowers youth to become leaders in their families, in their careers, and in their communities. Over 75 years of history, FCCLA equips members with essential life skills, fostering personal growth and civic responsibility. Another key phrase, civic responsibility. Through competitions, service projects, and leadership development programs, FCCLA cultivates teamwork, communication, and problem-solving abilities. Members engage in initiatives that addressing critical societal issues from health and wellness to environmental sustainability. FCCLA's impact extends beyond the classroom, shaping future leaders who drive positive change in their families, workplaces, and neighborhoods, embodying positive values of service and leadership. The students about to present tonight earned first place in the state at Ohio's FCCLA Leadership Conference. That has earned them the opportunity to now present in Seattle, Washington in 2 weeks at the National Leadership Conference. So indeed, great things happen in our community, and this group has been the tip of the spear. Now I'd like to turn it over to Monica Lewis, Colerain High School's FCCLA advisor, who will introduce the group. Monica?
Welcome.
Good evening.
Hello.
So as mentioned, I'm the advisor for Family and Consumer Science at Colerain High School. I'm also for FCCLA at Colerain High School, I'm also a Family and Consumer Science teacher, which is code for home economics, in case you wanted to really know what that meant. So the three young ladies that we have here this evening are fantastic young ladies, and they're gonna tell you where they are in their high school journey, and I think that only makes them even more impressive. As mentioned, FCCLA is a national organization, has almost 200,000 members, but our club at Colerain High School this year only had about 15. But even with those 15, we were able to do a lot of great things. FCCLA strives to help make a difference in those members' families, look at careers down the road, and obviously address the community with the service projects that we do. They work on a lot of soft skills that employers are looking for, and even some of the things that we do as our club will benefit them greatly in college, such as presentations like this evening. We have been able to help some of our local PTAs and volunteer with those. We're always looking for opportunities for our members to build their leadership skills and serve in their community. So with that, I would like to introduce Olivia Mitchell, Riley Selmeyer, and Amani Williams. They'll be presenting their project to you. Similar to how they present to the judges, they're also going to tell you about a few other things we do in our club this year. And just ask if you have any questions, you'll hold them till the end, and they'll answer them at that point.
I was going to say, put that down. We have an issue with tall heights.
Welcome, ladies.
Hello and good evening. My name is Imani Williams. I have just finished my sophomore year at Colerain High School.
I'm Riley Selmeyer, and I just finished my freshman year at Colerain High School. If you want to go to the next slide. My name is Olivia Mitchell. I also just finished my freshman year at Colerain High School. We are all members of Butler Tech Colerain FCCLA. FCCLA stands for Family, Career, and Community Leaders of America.
We are your Colerain High School FCCLA chapter. There are over 4,000 chapters across the country. In our chapter, we have 15 members. Our advisor is Monica Lewis, who is one of the Family and Consumer Science teachers at Colerain.
Since 1945, FCCLA members have been making a difference in their families, careers, and communities by addressing important personal, work, and societal issues. Involvement in FCCLA offers members the opportunity to expand their leadership potential and develop skills for life, planning, goal setting, problem solving, and others necessary in the home and workplace. Go to the next slide, please.
Our chapter decided to do a FACTS project. FACTS stands for Families Acting for Community Traffic Safety. We chose to have a FACTS project again this year, inspired by last year's project. Last year's project was in honor of a student who died in a car crash earlier in the school year. That project deeply impacted the entire student body, so we wanted to continue educating about traffic safety and other FACTS projects this year.
Go to the next slide, please. For our FACTS project, we hosted drunk goggles simulations for the freshman health classes. One example of these simulations was as we had freshmen put on drunk goggles and walk on a road map to experience drunk driving and how it affected their control of the car. We also hosted tables at 2 basketball games and at lunch that had the same simulations. At each of the events outside of the health class, we enticed people to participate by offering raffle items that FCCLA prepared. They earned tickets for each activity they did. Go to the next slide, please.
This year, we also did a service project as a chapter. For our chapter service project, we looked for a way to possibly impact our local community. We learned that some families couldn't afford to celebrate birthdays due to food insecurity.
We were able to work with Sun Ministries Food Pantry. We prepared birthday party in a box boxes and delivered them to the food pantry.
We came up with a way for the families to get to celebrate by creating a birthday party in a box for anybody who goes to the food pantry.
Inside of these boxes, you were able to find cake mix, candles, a birthday card, napkins, paper plates, party blowers, soda to substitute for eggs and oil when making the cake, icing, and birthday banners. And it was all in an aluminum pan to bake the cake in. Next slide.
To help with our project, we partnered with Mr. Dave Fox's Precision Machining class, BPA, DECA, Coach Jeff Waltz, Unified Partners Club, Athletic Director Matt Stoinoff, and Sun Ministries Food Pantry.
What I took out of this project is that kindness goes a long way. Just the little things you can do can positively impact just one person and change their whole life around.
The most important part of this project for me was seeing the impact of helping those in need and knowing that our project succeeded in our goals.
Something I learned from participating in this service project was that small things can make a person's day so much brighter. Some people were worried that they would not be able to celebrate a family's birthday. Our small birthday box gave them that opportunity and made their day better. They are happy that they could celebrate with a cake and a few decorations. I felt good to know I could help them.
Helping out with the FACTS project was my favorite part of being in FCCLA this year. I got to see all the kids' reactions to having the drunk goggles on, and it made a lot of people not want to drink and drive. Go to the next slide, please.
My favorite part of FCCLA was helping my community out. I liked helping Montford Heights out with the Christmas shopping at school and Mumpkins pickup. I also liked seeing the special needs kids' faces light up when we asked them to help us put the birthday boxes together.
I really enjoyed socializing with different people from different schools and hearing about other members' projects during competitions. Next slide, please.
One of the other things that we enjoyed this year with FCCLA was competing at the state and regional competitions. During the competitions, we met a lot of new people and learned how to use our voices and communicate our thoughts and opinions.
At the regional and state competitions, we presented our Birthday in a Box service project to a panel of judges. Our project placed first at the state competition. This qualifies us to present our project at the national competition at the end of June. Next slide, please.
Overall, our experiences were amazing, and we can't wait to see what lies in store for us next year.
Go to the next slide, please. Thank you very much for taking the time to listen to us talk about FCCLA. We are happy to answer any questions you may have about FCCLA and our experiences in the club.
I don't have a question, but I loved the birthday cake idea. What a phenomenal idea. Thank you for providing a happiness for some of those families that couldn't do that for their children, or even an adult.
And I agree. Sometimes when you approach people, you might be the first friendly person that's approached them in a while because of their situation, and it's probably very nice for them to have you come along. So thank you for your work.
You guys have done a fantastic job. Any big plans for Seattle? Has anybody been to Seattle before among you?
Going to the Space Needle, right?
It's a long flight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you could hook up with this group because you're from Colerain and she's right there. You can help them out too. Too good to get their names.
And I know for your teacher, it's always exciting when you have an extracurricular and you win state and region and they're freshmen and sophomores. Because it bodes well for the future. So do you have plans for next year to expand on this, or do you start with a new project, or?
We do have to start with a new project, but we're not sure what that project will be.
Okay, because now we want you to win again.
Yeah. And how did the results with the people that took the drunk goggle test? How did they feel after they did that? What were some of their?
A lot of them didn't believe that's actually how you felt when you were drunk, and they were all just in shock of how hard it was to see, and yeah, the activities that they did they really liked, and they just decided that they do not want to ever drink and drive.
What a nice impact you did for them. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yes.
And congratulations.
Congrats and good luck.
Very good. Thank you for coming here
luck.
tonight.
Thank you, Board.
Thank you. Okay, now we go to administration. Thank you for all coming here
Did you not
tonight.
have any
Thank you.
citizen address?
Sorry, there's no citizens address. I'm sorry. There's nobody out there that
David?
fill out a citizen's address? He looked. No, there is none. That's what I found. Okay. Sorry.
See, that's me. They've won first once. Now I'm like, ooh, they're freshmen and sophomores. They can go win first again next year.
Once a teacher, always a teacher. You can take 'em out
Start
of
the dynasty.
classroom.
All right, board, we have our administrative updates next, and I'd like to introduce Assistant Chief Mueller back up to the podium.
He's
Oh,
out.
he's out there. Oh, shoot, okay.
He
We'll
left
come
back
back
out
to him.
there.
If Police Chief Cordy can come up and give his report for the board, that'd be great.
Welcome, Chief.
Thank you. All right. Evening.
Good evening.
For the month of May, the police department responded to 4,228 calls for service. That's 136 calls per day. That's a 10% increase from May of last year and a 7% increase on the calls for service this year. We're about 1,300 calls more this year at this point than we were last year. For the month, we conducted 442 traffic stops. You can see up there that we're so far sitting 2,051 stops for the year, which is about a most recent in the last 5 years. Highest was 2019, and we're more than 500 above those from 2019. We handled 138 crash reports, made 191 arrests. For the month of May, we made 15 OVI arrests. On the right side, you see there, we're at 45 for the year. For May, we had 6 uses of force, 2 taser deployments, 1 OC deployment, 1 takedown, 1 strike, and of course the Kroger incident. We had 2 vehicle pursuits and 2 internal investigations. No rhyme or reason, the busiest days were Wednesday and Friday. And once again, between the hours of 9 a.m. and midnight, with a spike at 6 a.m. It always works that way for some reason. Code enforcement. Total violations are 359, inspections 434, violations 116, 4 of which were sent to housing court, 20 property maintenance violations, 33 zoning violations. Our environmental crimes interacted with 2 littering complaints, 27 abandoned vehicles, only 4 resulted in being towed, 33 parking complaints, and interacted with the public through communication 87 times. Impact, some stats for the month, which is a little bit lower than usual, but they had a little bit going on. 55 traffic stops. They signed 10 felony charges, 18 misdemeanors, closed 1 felony warrant, 11 misdemeanor warrants, 16 traffic warrants. Their seizures were a little bit on the low side this month. 22 grams of marijuana, 19 grams of meth, 8 grams of fentanyl, 6.5 grams of cocaine, towed 14 vehicles, and assisted with the road units for 81 details. Our current staffing is 60 officers, but I just received a 2-week notice this morning from one of our officers, which will take us down to 59 officers, with again looming of moving down to 58 by the end of the year. What questions can I answer for the board?
For those who didn't watch your interview for the news with Melissa Powers, prosecutor, can you reiterate?
While the investigation is still ongoing with BCI, Prosecutor Powers openly cleared our officers of any wrongdoing. It was pretty evident by the evidence that we have in front of us that our officers not only acted appropriately but heroically, and they did a fantastic job stopping the threat in less than a minute, closer to 40 seconds. Pretty crazy scenario that just involved us having a consensual encounter with an individual, trying to identify who he was, and within the first second of the officer exiting his vehicle, he had a firearm leveled at him, and luckily it turned out the way that it did. We did obviously have the individual hurt as well as an innocent bystander, but our officers came out on top. The rounds were very purposeful and placed in knowing each round that they took had a backstop and no one in the line of fire to strike. And we know that there was 117 individuals inside the Krogers at the time, and this could have gone catastrophically.
I'm sorry, how many?
117.
Including employees?
That we're aware of.
Okay.
We know quite a few fled that we aren't aware of, but we know over 117 were inside.
I want to thank your guys from the bottom of my heart, because I know people that were in there at the situation. Thank you, the 3 officers that were out there and the whole group that responded. We had Green Township, City of Cincinnati. We had several other municipalities come out and help us in this situation. To have no casualties is just a phenomenal reaction to what happened. Thank you.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, I concur 1,000%. It just, my one question, which you answered, was how long did the whole thing take? Because you get the tape and it gets slowed down, and 40 seconds is, man, that's quick to engage in for the officer to realize that let's outflank them. It's just, they performed, and I've spoken to 2. The third, I've had trouble because I've been very, very busy. I left message, he left message. They performed brilliantly. I will add kind of my own op-ed piece in this. I heard one of the news stations play the 911 or play the video of the dispatch, and it just wrangled me so much because they said you can hear the fear in the policeman's voice, and it was so ridiculous because it was the calmest, most in control, on top of things. And then I heard, was it Lieutenant Dorfline then took control of he was on top of it, boom. It was just incredible how professional under such extreme pressure situations everybody was. And like you said, and I wondered about that, but you filled that in, each shot, that was a dangerous situation, and they had a backstop for each shot. It wasn't like, me at the target range just trying to hit the target,
Yeah, talking maybe a little inside here, but the individual was starting to flush back towards the self-checkout area, and our unmarked undercover officer actually, as he was pulling into the parking lot, saw the suspect point the firearm at our officers and knew that gunfire was being exchanged, and even without his vest, he went in to engage, knowing that they needed him. So by him encountering the individual, pushed him back towards the exit and kept him from going closer to where people were hiding.
Wow. I mean, it's just, you think about how that plays out, like tactically, if you game theory wise, but when it happens in 40 seconds and it all works out the way you want it to, like that, it's just incredible. I think it's just a testimony to, I'd say training, but I think just intelligence and experience is a big part of it too, because you can train something to death. I've used this quote like every meeting. Like Mike Tyson said, everybody has a game plan until you get punched in the face. But those men followed through at that point, and they knew exactly what they were doing, and that was impressive to me.
I mean, to be honest, this was the impact team.
Right.
We were very lucky that it was any of our officers easily could have handled themselves as well, but this impact team is a very, very close unit, involved majority of them being either highly trained or SWAT operators or military vets that have that experience, and that they've been through some different scenarios that they were able to feed on. So
I was just blown away. It's just I can't give enough. I mean, when I talked to the officers, I said thank you. Is such a. I mean, it just not. It just seems like not enough to say.
And I completely understand that. And what I'll just say is that I think this just goes once again to show the importance of the impact team, because this type of evil, this type of danger is out there in our community, and unless we have the ability to have proactive policing, this is just going to go unchecked. And who knows what could have happened? Who knows what this could have been? But it simply just comes down to having proactive policing is the correct answer. We cannot be a reactive unit, and unfortunately, with us taking that number from 69 authorized down to 58 is directly impacting our ability to do anything but be a very reactive unit, is.
And I know Chief can't comment on an ongoing investigation, but do yourself a favor and look up and see what was in that gentleman's bag. In one,
I think I can, because
okay.
that was from the prosecutor.
That just threw me even more for a loop when I read that. I'm like, wait a second.
Yeah, there's no other ways to describe it as a starter kit for robberies.
Mm-hmm.
You got masks, you got latex gloves, you've got various different pry tools.
Like a face.
Weapons. You have a ski mask, a latex mask with sunglasses, wigs, bag of human hair.
Mm-hmm.
Scary.
And so our officers know, or any that are watching, you've always had the full 150% support of this board. And when this investigation's wrapped up, just from my own personal learning experience, I'd like to learn exactly what went down, and I realize this is still an ongoing investigation, but to our officers, you have our 150% support on this.
Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Chief. Up next is our Assistant Fire Chief Mueller to discuss our numbers from the fire department.
Welcome back, Chief.
Good evening again. It's a pleasure to report on.
Mic
Turn
on.
the mic on.
Mic on. He turned it off on you.
Chief Cordy set me up. Well, good evening again, Board. It's a pleasure to report off on another busy month of activity for the fire department. So in the month of May, EMS incidents rose to 852, which puts us on pace for yet another record-breaking year of approximately 10,500 runs. Fire incidents rose to 212 for that month of May. From a Springfield Township contract perspective, we had 33 runs into the Pleasant Run EMS contract area and 0 runs into the West College Hill contract area. To date, there's been 160 runs into the Pleasant Run EMS contract area and only 2 in the West College Hill contract area. That's year to date. During the month of May, we had one significant fire incident that resulted in fire loss. That total fire loss was $18,600. However, the fire started in an out structure close to the home, and crews were able to stop the fire before it actually spread to the home, saving in significant property loss. As we mentioned, fire loss for the month of May, the property value lost was $18,600 as a result of that single incident. However, the property value saved $286,500, which puts our save rate at an 87.80% save rate. So significant dollars there saved. Average response times for Colerain Township was 4 minutes and 53 seconds across all emergency details. The first unit on the scene from a percentile perspective, in less than 6 minutes, we hit the 74th percentile. 74.6% of our runs were responded to in less than 6 minutes. So that's from an operational perspective. From a training perspective, one significant and important training took place. On May 15th and 16th, we were able to host what's called a big box class through our Blue Card Training Collaborative. The big box, you may ask what that means, and that's think about your large superstores, like your Walmarts, your Krogers, any of our larger open areas like Dick's Sporting Goods, places like that. Those structures present unique challenges when it comes to structural firefighting incidents or any type of rescue incident. So this class discussed strategies and tactics geared towards life safety and fire safety in these structures. We had 44 participants, including 5 from Colerain Township. They included Assistant Chief Packer, Division Chief Miller, Battalion Chief Frank, Dower, and Beach. There were 44 participants, and they represented 28 departments just from our region. 4 instructors were involved in teaching that course, and they were from Nashville, Las Vegas, Vandenberg, California, and Columbia, South Carolina. It's a very unique opportunity as Colerain continues to be the tip of the spear in leading the fire service in our area. We have a great opportunity to bring training courses like that here. From a community risk reduction perspective, there are 2 really exciting announcements, a lot of which events are going to happen here towards the end of this month and next month. The first, I'm pleased to announce a new partnership between Colerain Fire and EMS and AARP. That's correct, AARP. AARP has been gracious through a grant opportunity to provide $2,500 for grab bars. And what that's going to do for our residents of Colerain Township, it's going to allow Colerain Fire and EMS to increase the scope of our fall prevention efforts. Falls remain the number one run maker in Colerain Township, which we respond to about 1,200 every year. That's a number 1 call for service, falls. So this is going to be able to increase our scope in fall prevention efforts inside the home through efforts done by Chelsea Gehring, our community paramedic, and other fire service members who are going to volunteer to install these grab bars inside of individuals' homes. And lastly, this is a save the date announcement. More information will be coming out as well, but we'll be partnering with Hawksworth to host a blood drive on July 31st, Wednesday, July 31st, from noon to 6 p.m. And this is going to coincide with the peak of our trauma season, where we see the most injuries occur in our township. So we're going to be promoting the need for blood in this area. So lots of exciting things happening, and we appreciate the opportunity to be able to do them. Any questions?
And thanks for an excellent report.
Now you're going to want our blood, okay.
You betcha.
Thank you.
Thank you, Board.
Thank you.
Next, we have our Assistant Director Moulter from Public Services to go over their report for the month.
Welcome.
Thank you. As I lower this greatly, because I'm nowhere near as tall as Will. Okay, thank you for having me tonight. For the month of May, as can be expected, the weather is wonderful and beautiful, and people were out in our parks. We had for the month of May, Clifford Park saw, or that's Heritage. Okay. Clifford Park had 6,501 visitors, and that is between the two entrances. Colerain Park had 6,415 visitors, and Heritage Park had 5,467 for the month of May. We are just under average for the year, but that will ramp up as the weather continues to be as beautiful as it has been. Litter laborers are doing an amazing job, and for the month of May, they collected 153 bags of trash, 12 shopping carts, and 2 signs. Signs, they think they probably picked up a few more than that, but I think that's lower on their list of things to pass on to me. And then finally, we have rentals. Maybe. Is that on there? Oh, okay. Do you want me to discuss them? Okay. We did have, as you can expect with the warmer weather, we did have 101 new park rentals come through for the month of May. That will lower as we go through because right now we are pretty much booked up for the season. So if you are planning on having a party, do not wait. Please book your shelters early and in advance. And do you have any questions of me?
Nope, thank you very much.
Not at this time. Thanks, Tawana.
Thank you for the ribbon cutting today, a Skyline, and that was close to your heart.
Very close to my heart. And I'm so glad that it's always being used. And so it's just very awesome.
It was good to see the kids there.
Yes. And also one other thing to mention that's not part of the dashboard, we did the speed cushions that were part of the 2023 road program on Menominee. We had to wait until we did that final seal coating on the road. The speed cushions started going up yesterday.
And Lori has 6 videos showing she's not here, but Lori McMullen, 6 videos of how people are slowing down.
I got texts throughout the day, including videos of people slowing down to go over them very gently. So it's exciting to see those. And we did receive delivery of the ones that will go up on Sovereign. We have not scheduled them, but we are in possession.
Good.
So, okay.
Thank you so much.
One thing to add also is our Blanchetta basketball court project. They paved last week, so that's
paved. They were doing another coat today. I spoke with Mike, who cuts the grass over there, and the anchors are in for the goalposts. So it's moving along. So it's very exciting. So,
another ribbon cutting.
Lots of really good things.
Thanks, Tawana.
Thank you. Next is Director Miller to provide the Development and Zoning report.
Thank you, sir.
I just love graphs.
Went ahead and gave you the item for later on the agenda as well. So, for Planning and Zoning and the Development Department for the month of May, we processed a total of 61 zoning certificates. That breaks down into 48 residential, 13 non-residential, which would be commercial. Primary interest in the residential were fences, decks, and sheds. So it's that time of year. People are sprucing up yards and homes, and so it's good. We had 4 signs in the commercials category, and then we had 2 cases before the Zoning Commission and 5 in front of the Board of Zoning Appeals. That's all I've got for that. If you have any questions, happy to address those.
Looks like it's keeping you busy, David.
It's very busy, but it's all good.
All good. pictures are just looking better. I'm just like, yeah.
So, yeah, we'll,
For next, yeah.
yeah, no cheating. You're
Oh, I cheated.
jumping ahead.
I did.
So that'll be
Okay.
item 11.
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, board, lastly, our administrative report. Finance closed the month of May in 5 business days. Over the last 5 months, this makes the average of 9.2 days to close each month. So we're running very strong with that, very happy with that. The customer service, we use the Happy or Not customer service reporting platform. We've got really good reports from that last month. We had 69 greats, so that's the highest grade you can get, and 37 of those came from the police department. So usually you're visiting the police department under not such great circumstances, so we were happy to see that. Along with that, we had 4 goods, 2 bads, and then 18 uglies. Of course, a majority of those also came from the police department. But I think the the greats outweigh the uglies. So happy to report that. And then strategic plan, as you can see, we are on track with a majority of our initiatives. We've not started another chunk of them, but we're behind schedule on a few and delayed delayed on a couple and then completed a small portion of those. So we're looking very good. I think we're tracking well with our initiatives as well. And then finally, the last thing I have to report is the Colerain Historical Society. As you know, we partner very closely with them. They're participating in a yard sale fundraiser on June 14th and 15th. That's this week. And that's at Isaac Walton. So if you would like to participate or attend, please contact them for information. Thank you, board.
Thank you. Okay, now I guess we're going to move on to trustee reports. Do you want to go first?
Sure, I'll go first. Thank you, Kathy. I think the litter labor program has been excellent. For those that don't know, we have folks in a pickup truck, and we go around and do spot litter cleanup on various streets, and I think the township's in a lot better shape in the last few years since we've run that program. It's a very low-cost program, and we started it on a shoestring with a donated pickup truck, and I think it's gone great. For those interested in reading it, House Bill 315 is, it probably should be passed through the House and the Senate. I guess it would have to be done by June 30th. It has a lot of different things that affect townships. For those that have not been out to see the place ever, and you've only heard about it or what you've read on social media, on June 22nd is an excellent chance to go actually tour the Rumpke facility and the, and it's right there. Okay, well, I'll let you have that one, but my encouragement would be that, there's a lot of stuff on social media about Rumpke, and I would encourage people to actually go see it for real, and I'll let Kathy take the rest of that. The Help Squad. Everything you say is so about the needs that are out there in the community. In my personal situation, my wife and I, our children have grown up and moved out. I can't imagine trying to buy groceries and pay all the other expenses that go with having young children or teenagers in the house. Everything's gotten so expensive in these last few years with, things cost 20% more than they were 3 years ago, and that I'm glad that there's organizations out there where people give their time and resources and, most importantly, advice and guidance to help some of these families that, need help. So thank you so much for what you're doing. Lately, I still receive a lot of calls, 513-404-3057. Yes, there's plenty of grass out there growing. We get on it, we go over, we site these properties, and the best result is if they get out and cut them, and we don't have to because you don't want us cutting your grass. It's less expensive if you keep your property up on your own. And for those that are watching, the United Dairy Farmers store over that is being constructed at Blue Rock and Springdale Blue Rock Connector, they did put a sign up that says they will be open June 21st. We shall see. That is a 50-mile-an-hour road, and it's just the first couple weeks scares me to death about people pulling out onto a 50-mile-an-hour road out of a retail store. Having grown up a mile from there. Blue Rock is the very last exit all the way around 275 that does not have commercial development. So this will be the first business there. And please be careful pulling in and out of that store. It's not a 35-mile-an-hour zone. It's a 50-mile-an-hour zone, and I'm concerned about how that's going to perform. So thank you, Kathy.
Thank you. Do you want to get it?
Just thank you, everyone, for your continued thoughts and prayers for my mother and my family, and that'll be it for my report today.
Thanks, Matt. Okay, couple things for me. I can't believe I'm going to talk the longest.
I can. Go ahead.
Just to remind everybody, the Chamber of Commerce Hometown Hero event is this Thursday at the Willow Event Center. It's honoring all our local veterans. So you can call the Chamber of Commerce if there's still some tickets available. It's a wonderful event. So please try to attend that. And then I did bring over, because we do get a lot of nasty comments about Rumpke, and they are just a wonderful community provider through this whole community. They just donate and are very welcoming, especially for this open house. If anybody's never taken the tour through the landfill, it is a city within a city. It's a great tour. They're going to have food. There's the look online, but that is the June 22nd from 10 to 2. They're going to have the Touch a Truck, and so I think the kids have already really enjoyed that. I've taken my kids several times on the landfill, and they have really enjoyed it, and I think I'm going to take it again because it's gotten a little bit bigger since the last time I was there. And about the recycling program, I am still excited about Rumpke combining their efforts with Hefty. In just part of this recycling data, in 2023, 2,525 tons of material from our recycling program have not gone into the landfill. That is equivalent to 12 blue whales or 360 elephants. So that is just, please keep on recycling. And then the energy that has been conserved by doing this is enough that if somebody rode their bike, everybody in Colerain Township rode their bike for 7 days. That's with the energy. And Helen's laughing. These are her statistics. She did a great job putting these together. And the air pollution is by saving, by riding the bikes. But I just keep recycling. And the other one is another event is, of course, our Colerain Township fireworks are July 3rd. So please come for that. And on July 4th, they have the Pray, Hope, Believe 5K run. And you can still sign up for that. You go to prayhopebelieve.org and to sign up. So wonderful things happening in Colerain Township. And please, anybody that saw the Help Squad, if you can donate or volunteer, this is such an important underutilized event that we know of in Colerain Township. I was super happy to hear about this since it's a newer program with us. So please volunteer and recycle. So I'm good. Done. Next is new business.
Thank you, Board. Yes, first up is Police Chief Cordy to discuss public safety new business.
Welcome back, Chief.
Thank you. Okay, item A. We have a resolution declaring nuisance and ordering abatement at the following properties: 2730 Burnside Drive, 9307 Coogan Drive, 11317 Gravenhurst Drive, 2909 Greenbrook Lane, 2563 Niagara Street, 2564 Niagara Street, 2594 Retford Drive, 12127 Seaford Drive, 2520 Springdale Road, 2870 Stout Road, 8578 Sunlight Drive, 8964 Tripoli Drive, and 12059 Westerly Drive. Recommend adoption of the resolution.
A motion to adopt the resolution declaring the properties Chief mentioned is nuisance properties and ordering abatement.
I'll second Matt's motion.
Any discussion?
None from me.
None.
Ms. Orch?
Yes.
Mr. Unger?
Yes.
Mr. Wall?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Item B, resolution declaring a junk motor vehicle at 3496 Redskin Drive. At that address, there is one vehicle. It is a 2006 yellow Chevrolet Aveo. And again, that's 3496 Redskin Drive. Recommend adoption of the resolution.
I'll motion to declare junk a motor vehicle, 3496 Redskin Drive, no tag, 2006 yellow Chevrolet Aveo.
I'll second that motion.
No discussion?
I have no idea what that car would
I know,
look like.
I've never
I'm
heard
not-
of
I've never
Aveo.
seen an
I'm
Aveo.
not familiar with that
It's a very
model.
small. It's a very small.
Is it a
Oh,
small car?
okay. Don't know, never heard of it.
Ms. Orich?
Yes.
Mr. Unger?
Yes.
Mr. Waller?
Yes.
Okay, item C, resolution declaring a junk motor vehicle at 2815 Springdale Road. At that address, there is a 2017 black Honda Accord. Again, that's 2815 Springdale Road, and recommend adoption of the resolution.
I'll motion to declare junk a motor vehicle, 2815 Springdale Road, a black Honda Accord, JJN 9329, 2017 black Honda Accord.
I'll second it.
No discussion.
None.
Ms. Orich?
Yes.
Mr. Unger?
Yes.
Mr. Waller?
Yes.
Thank you, Board.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. The rest of the items will be discussed with myself and the board. The first, but first, before I do that, if you're here and you did a presentation, i.e. the Help Squad, you're welcome to be dismissed if you wanted to, unless you really wanted to.
You should stay.
hang-
I was going to tell you that. You don't have to stay for this.
We're glad to see you here.
But thank you again for all coming out.
This
I
is
hope
the
some
fun
people
stuff.
heard your
Gary wants to stay. I can see it. It's really nice to see you.
I hope you
I've
get
known
volunteers and donations from coming tonight.
Thank you for your
Thank you.
presentation.
I've known you a very long time.
Okay. Board, the first item is a motion to issue a request for proposals for legal services. Information on this item can be found on page 17 in your packets. The township last reviewed legal services in 2018. The current contract is set to expire at the end of 2024. The township is proposing to follow a request for proposal process to evaluate legal services for the next 3 years. Staff recommendation is an adoption and approval of the motion.
I motion that we would issue a request for proposals for legal services.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
No.
Okay.
Ms. Orich?
Yes.
Mr. Unger?
Yes.
Mr. Waller?
Yes.
The next item is a motion to issue a request for information for banking services. Information on this item can be found on page 26 of the packet. It has been several years since the township last evaluated its existing banking services. In order to understand the types of services that are available, and to consider if there is an opportunity to enhance interest earnings, the township is seeking information from qualified banks for banking services. Staff recommendation is an adoption and approval of the motion.
I motion that we would issue a request for information for banking services.
I'll second.
Discussion?
None.
Ms. Orich?
Yes.
Mr. Unger?
Yes.
Mr. Waller?
Yes.
Thank you. The next item is a resolution authorizing the adoption of amended appropriations. Information on this item is on page 34 of the packet. Each month, staff compares the township's actual performance to its revenue and appropriation budgets. It is mid-year, and it's appropriate to make changes to address unanticipated needs. This resolution makes the changes in appropriations that are detailed in the agenda packet. However, there are 2 items that I wanted to highlight for the board. One is Fund 2281. At the beginning of the pandemic, the township received a grant that we did not apply for. That grant was received as regular EMS revenue. Therefore, now that the performance period is finished and expired, these funds need to be returned to the federal government. The next item to highlight is Fund 4101. The township fell victim to a cyber attack earlier this year. The increase in appropriations is necessary to balance the fund from the incident. Thankfully, due to the diligent efforts from our township staff and the police, finance, and IT departments, we were able to recover 100% of the funds. Staff recommendation is an adoption and approval of the resolution.
I motion we approve the resolution authorizing the adoption of amended appropriations.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
No.
No.
Okay.
Ms. Orich?
Yes.
Mr. Unger?
Yes.
Mr. Waller?
Yes.
The next item is a motion to authorize Township Administrator to execute an agreement with Anthem for health insurance for the 2024-2025 plan year. This information is on page 38 of the agenda packet. This year, there were only 2 benefit packages that were up for renewal, medical and dental. Based on a review of the marketplace, staff is recommending Anthem as the third-party administrator and HCC as the stop-loss coverage provider. By selecting this package, the township should be able to keep plan rates flat for the employees for this current health plan year. It is important that the township takes action on these items today, as open enrollment for employees will need to begin prior to the next Board of Trustee meeting in order to comply with federal guidelines. Staff recommendation is an adoption and approval of the motion.
I motion that we would authorize the Township Administrator to execute an agreement with Anthem for health insurance for the 2024-2025 plan year.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
Yes, I do purchase health insurance through the Township. I pay the exact same rate as anyone else. I don't see that as a conflict.
Thank you for the staff that did this work. I mean, it's awesome that we have not an increase this year.
Yes.
Ms. Orich?
Yes.
Mr. Unger?
Yes.
Mr. Waller?
Yes.
The next item on the heels of that is a motion authorizing the Township Administrator to execute an agreement with Emeritus for employee dental benefits. Information on this item can be found on page 57 of the agenda packet. Based on the review of the marketplace, staff is recommending Emeritus as the provider for employee dental services. This contract will result in a 1-year rate lock that is 17% less than our current dental plan costs. Staff recommendation is an adoption and approval of the motion.
I motion that we would authorize the Township Administrator to execute an agreement with Emeritus for employee dental benefits.
I'll second. And thanks again for staff for,
And I do purchase dental insurance through the Township, and I pay the same rate as anybody else.
Ms. Orich?
yes.
Mr. Unger?
Yes.
Mr. Waller?
Yes.
The next item is a motion to set rates for employee health care plans and packages. Information on this item can be found on page 61 of the packet. As part of the township's renewal process, it is recommended that all plans and rates be held flat, consistent with this prior year. There is one change in the health savings account limit for the embedded high deductible health plans. This is the township's gold package. By the Internal Revenue Service's mandate, the minimum deductible has been increased by the IRS, and their efforts are in order to adjust to inflation. So the single goes from $1,600 to $1,650. The family goes from $3,200 to $3,300. So that's the impact that the IRS is there on the staff. Staff recommendation is an adoption and approval of the motion.
A motion that we would approve to set rates for employee health care plans and packages.
I'll second.
I'm confused. I was told that there wasn't any inflation.
And as I said with item D and item E, I do purchase my insurance through the Township.
Did that, I mean, was that a misspeak by us? Because I read our federal leaders said there's no inflation.
The federal government is another topic for another day. Yes, there's.
We're just going to deal with Colerain child
Okay.
checks now.
Keeping people like the Help Squad in business, Matt, things have gotten incredibly expensive the last several years, and the fact that you're able to find a reduced rate that saves us $11,000, which is $11,000. So thank you for your work on that.
Mm-hmm.
Ms. Orich?
Yes.
Mr. Unger?
Yes.
Mr. Waller?
Yes.
And the final item is a first reading of a resolution adopting financial policies for fraud prevention. This information can be found on page 69 of the agenda packet. As you know, governments across the United States continue to see an increase in external fraud that results in loss of taxpayer dollars. Staff looked into the existing fraud policies and determined it would be beneficial to revise and adopt the following 3 policies for the township: methods of payment, electronic vendor fraud, bank account fraud prevention. These policies will help to provide clear direction and strategy to staff to aid in the prevention of fraud and protection of taxpayer dollars. These policies were drafted based on best practices from the Government Finance Officers Association, or otherwise known as GFOA. No action is requested of the board. This is just simply a first reading.
So I do have a comment with regard to this. It's just so happens this week I was hit with financial fraud on my ATM card, which I think rarely use for anything, but evidently used to DoorDash some. It's like the third time that I DoorDash some Dollar General in San Francisco, which is amazing because the time before that it was Dollar Tree, and I spent like $3,000 at Dollar Tree evidently, which I thought, would I just take the whole store? I just don't know that we can have a policy, but I don't think we're ever going to keep up. As soon as we have a policy, it's going to be outdated. So I'd like to recognize that in the policy is that we're doing the best we can with this, but we're never going to have a policy that speaks to all the possible ways. One of the things when I spoke to my bank about this, I'm like, what's going on with this? How does this keep happening? One of the potential ways people are doing now, when you go through, they're like, if you ever go through a drive-through, like McDonald's or something or wherever, I'm not trying to single them out, any drive-through for coffee or something in the morning, I try to use Apple Pay or Google Pay because sometimes they're taking pictures of your ATM card. And I'm like, really? I just didn't think there's enough time to do all that. But we can have a policy, but I think it's as soon as we have one, we're going to be outdated. And that's no reflection on the work done with the policy.
It's very true, Matt. With changing technologies, it's hard to stay ahead. In this first reading, if anyone wants to read it and comment on it, it's in our agenda. So please, everyone at home, take a look at it, and maybe there's some things that apply to your own life that you might improve with what's going on with your own personal finances. No other comments.
Okay, good. Okay, now we go to old business.
Great. We do have an item under old business. I'd like to invite Director Miller to discuss the potential action for Houston.
Welcome back, sir.
Thank you. Quick reminder, excuse me, in the last couple of years, we went through a long and arduous process to identify buildings, whether they be commercial or residential, that were dilapidated and needed to be demolished. And so we had identified several, went through that long process, were able to save some. One did get demoed, and again, it was through a grant program partnership with the Port Authority and the state. The one that is before us now was also scheduled. It was owned by a woman here in Colerain at 2864 Houston, and the demo company showed up on site, found a dumpster already parked there, and called me and said, "What's going on?" I said, "I have no idea." Drove over there and had a conversation with the owner, and they were already working on the house. So, long story short, she's elderly, just trying to catch up, and she was able to get her son, Robert Johnson. The owner was Ruby Johnson. So her son lives in Reynoldsburg, and he has you've met him a couple of times. He's appeared before the board, and he was unable to appear tonight. Regretfully, he has a sick child and was not able to make it. So what I did was provide to you his email that he sent to me, and then copies of the progress that he's made, most notably, as you can see, the before and after of the driveway and the front porch. Those were in very bad shape. Almost a scary thing to think
really
what Mrs. Ruby Johnson was facing going in and out of that. But that said, he's made significant progress. If you read through the email, all the things that he has done, it has been a difficult process for him with contractors and supply chain delays. So he has provided these as a report, and that is his update. He doesn't have anything. he thinks he's going to be done in the next few weeks, and that wasn't in the email, but that's his projection. I would think, in the next 30 days he could be complete with that. But he has put in a significant amount of money into the home, and he has just a little bit left on the outside that he's going to do that'll make the neighborhood look really good. But the inside, a lot of replacement. I think I provided pictures at the April 11th meeting, and so that's the report under old business for this particular home. If you have any questions, if you'd like me to report back to him, if you'd like to pull his bond and demo the house, you have that option. So
You can tell from the house is significantly looking better. You've actually gone in the inside and saw the cabinetry and.
I haven't been in the house. I've just
Okay.
I've just seen the pictures.
Okay, okay.
I was thinking that one of our code enforcement officers has been over there.
Okay, and he's doing pretty much of everything that, with the weather, so the biggest thing was the driveway, and that looked horrible, but you can see the windows, the garage doors, the front door.
Yep.
He's cleaned up the yard, so no, I do not want to demo this house.
No, even do it.
No.
I appreciate the ongoing update. While you're talking, I happen to look up the property taxes on the property just to see if they're paid, and they are, but there is a glaring typo on the part of the auditor, because the taxes are 1604, approximately a half year, and that shows it shows 160.49 was received, so they left a digit out, and it says information believed accurate but not guaranteed. Treasurer disclaims liability. We need to get a new treasurer in this county that would take care of these things. So, but there's I'll send this to you. You might let him know that he needs to call down there and get that straightened out, because there's a glaring error in the accounting.
Okay.
Which is why we need a new treasurer.
What would be the board's preference as to communicating back to him and the release of the bond? Do you want to see if we could get another 30-day update, or would you consider this final and we could release the bond?
I'd just as soon bring it back at the next meeting. I want to drive over and take a look at it. I haven't
I'd like
made
a
it there
30
yet.
day.
That's fine.
You want to extend it?
Yeah, I would like to extend it
when?
30
To
day.
the second July meeting?
Yes. So he should have everything done. He said to David, he indicated that it would all be done within a month. So by the time the next meeting, I think,
When's our first July meeting?
is it the 8th? Huh?
It's July 9th.
July 9th.
So you want to extend it to that meeting, or you want to go 2 weeks past that, or?
I think let's go 2 weeks past that, because we got the
that
4th
would
of July.
be- That would be
The July 23rd.
July 23rd
Let's do
meeting.
it then. Okay.
And we can, that day, we can vote to, or we can discern if we're going to return the bond or not. Is that your favor? Okay.
Sounds good.
All right. Thank you.
We don't need to have a vote on that, right?
No.
I do believe you'll have to take a vote to release the bond.
Right, but right now, for the
No.
30 days, we
Give
don't.
an extension.
So that's going to be on the July 23rd agenda, if that's the fourth Tuesday.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we got consent items.
Okay, on our consent items, we have 7 items on the agenda, if you'd like me to review them in full. Item A is a donation acceptance for the police department from the Cincinnati Moose Lodge Number 2 in the amount of $2,039.24. They also donated to the Department of Fire and EMS for the same amount. Item C is a donation acceptance for the Fire Department and EMS from Jerome Robinson in the amount of $50 cash. Item D is a contract with the Ohio Plan. It's an endorsement amendment. This is not, it does not cost anything. It's zero. It's just merely adding consent to settle language to our contract. So that's on there. Item E is a contract with KZF for a zoning resolution update for $0. Item F is a promotion for full-time firefighter paramedic of Megan Unger, and that is no relation to our trustee Unger.
And it's a different last name spelling, and it's
Correct.
pronounced Ungar, so.
Yep.
no
At
relation.
$22.43 an hour. And then finally, a new hire in the planning department of Maggie Klein at $26 per hour.
I motion we approve the consent agenda as presented.
Actually, I'd like to amend the consent agenda and have the salary for Ms. Klein added into the agenda. It's currently doesn't say that.
Oh, yeah, new hire planner, make.
So you would add the words $26 per hour, Matt?
Yeah.
It is also in the agenda packet, her new hire authorization form that outlines that.
Okay.
So it is on the one that's in the.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, it's online. I'm looking off the hard copy. So.
Okay, thank
Okay, then I withdraw my.
So will you second my motion to approve the consent
Yeah,
agenda?
I'll second it.
Okay. No comments from me.
No comment.
Ms. Orich?
Yes.
Mr. Unger?
Yes.
Mr. Waller?
Yes.
Okay, now, Mr. Baker, do you have a fiscal office report?
I do. Thank you, Board. First, just an update on public records requests. We have responded to 282 public record requests. We have 12 outstanding, so we're still making very good progress on that. And as Ms. Mays mentioned earlier, the work that the Finance Department is doing in getting bank reconciliations done in months, financial reports done is really amazing. It's, in my 4 years that I've been here, I can't remember a time that these are done as quickly as they've been done. So just a great job by that department. And having said that, June financials and bank reconciliation was completed with an adjusted bank balance as of May 31st of $48,095,004.99. And that's my report.
Thank you. Okay, is there a need for an executive session?
No, Madam President.
Okay.
Motion to adjourn.
I will second that motion.
Ms. Orich?
Yes.
Mr. Unger?
Yes.
Mr. Waller?
Yes.
Okay, we are adjourned at 8:20 p.m. Thank you for listening and coming tonight.
Thank you.